Disciplines to Grow a Construction Business Part 2 by Shawn Dyke. Slow Growth Disciplines Tracking Labor. In my previous article, I discussed how to grow a construction business by using the margin required for your business to determine your markup. In Part 2 of this series, I'm going to show you a simple method to measure your labor. Now, labor is usually the largest cost for a construction business, and if you don't measure your labor in the same way in which you estimate it, you'll never know if you're making a profit on your largest cost. Implementing this labor tracking system will take you some time. So you have to develop the tracking system, what I call billing codes, train your employees on how to fill out their time cards, and develop a system to analyze the results. This is the second of 4 slow growth disciplines that will help you grow your construction business. And there's a link in the blog post for discipline number 1, using your margin to determine your markup. So check out the blog post and you can see the other parts in this series. Discipline number 2, tracking your labor using billing codes. Construction projects start with an estimate or proposal for the scope of work. And the scope of work is developed line item by line item, and a cost is associated with each of those line items. Each line item will consist of one or a combination of the following costs: labor, materials, subcontractors, or equipment. Estimating the correct amount of labor for each task is a skill that takes time and experience to develop. As I wrote about in this article, communicating the labor budget is vital to achieving the production goals of your project. So check out the blog post. There's a link to a previous article that I wrote about communicating your labor budget to your employees. But communicating the labor budget to your team will not lead to growth if you do not also track the labor spent on the project. So you need to design a billing code system. Each labor item in your proposal has a quantity of man hours associated with it. A billing code system assigns a unique identifier, it's just a number, to each of the tasks on the proposal. When your employees spend time on that task, they report that time on their time cards according to the billing code assigned to that task. For example, let's say that you're a remodeling contractor and the items below are self-performed by your crew as phase 1 of a project. So let's call this the demo phase. You've got install floor protection, 4 man hours, install dust barriers, 3 man hours, install temporary walls, 10 man hours, remove drywall, 10 man hours, and remove interior walls, 8 man hours. So you've estimated 37 total man hours to complete the scope items listed above. How can you determine if the estimated labor budget for this phase of work is met? Well, you have to track the time spent on each of these items individually. The simplest way to do that is to assign billing codes to each of the line items and have your crew members note that on their time cards. So an example of billing codes for the demo phase. Since the items listed above are fairly standard line items for any remodeling project, you should develop a standard list of billing codes associated with these items. For example, the billing codes for these items may be, let's say, 201, install floor protection; 202, install dust barriers; 203, install temporary walls; 204, remove drywall; 205, remove interior walls. With billing codes assigned to each line item, your employees can now track their time spent on each task. And there's a couple examples of what this will look like when your employees turn in their time cards, whether they are generalizing a whole entire 8-hour day, or they split that 8-hour day up into the individual tasks and assign the hours associated with each of those tasks. So check out the blog post for an example of a time card using billing codes and one not using billing codes. When you assign billing codes to each line item in your estimate and you have your employees track their time spent on each task, then you will know exactly where your estimate is inaccurate or where your production may have been delayed or possibly exceeded. Using standard billing codes will simplify the process of filling out time cards for your employees. Your employees won't have to write out a description of the task because the billing code number will tell you what that task is. There's no need for further explanation. So you want to publish your billing codes to your employees and have them clock in and clock out according to these codes. Once you have developed your standard billing codes, then you can start tracking the time spent on each of these tasks for each project for each employee. And in this blog post, I also give an example of billing codes for a general contractor, and it lists quite a few of them there. And it's just for an example's sake. So when you produce proposals using your standard billing code items, then you can track the accuracy of your proposal during the production phase when your employees log their time according to the billing codes for each task. This will show you exactly where you're making money, where you're hitting your numbers, and where you are losing money, where you're missing your numbers. And the final step is you want to analyze your labor budgets. There are several time tracking options for construction businesses. There's the old school method of filling out a paper time card, but you can also use a mobile time tracking application or a comprehensive project management software to create a digital record of time spent on each task. Once you have your time assigned to your billing code system, then you can produce a database of the time spent on each project. If you aren't using a digital time card system, then you may want to develop a spreadsheet where you can summarize this information for further analysis. Most mobile or digital time card systems will have this functionality built into the system. Whether you go analog or digital with your time tracking system, establishing a billing code system is the key to accurate job costing. If you aren't tracking your employees' time in the same way in which you're estimating their time, then you won't know where you are winning and where you are losing. Now, I've created a free online course that shows you how to use Google Sheets to create a digital time card system. So check out the blog post, and there's a link towards the end of the blog post where you can get that free digital time card system using Google Sheets. Just click on it. It's a free training. Just give me your email and you can have instant access to that. Implementing a billing code and time tracking system will help identify where you're making money and where you're losing money. And one of the simplest ways to grow your construction business is to stop doing the things that don't make you money and focus on the things that do. Need help streamlining your construction business? Sign up today to receive a free copy of the Paperwork Punch List, 28 Days to Streamline Your Construction Business. And this book is available exclusively for free at ShawnVanDyke.com/thepaperworkpunchlist. That's ShawnVanDyke.com, ShawnVanDyke.com/thepaperworkpunchlist. Hey, Shawn Van Dyke here. I just wanted to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen to this audio post. Email me any questions or comments you might have at my email address, which is connect@ShawnVanDyke.com. That's CONNECT @ShawnVanDyke.com. And let me know what you think. Thanks so much.